Utah Jazz lose to the Charlotte Hornets. It's a great sign for lottery night for the Jazz. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the game. Who looked good? Who didn't? It's the Hoops Nerd postgame show. All right, guys, the Utah Jazz, they lose to the Charlotte Hornets. This was a massive loss for the Utah Jazz in a great way. Utah now has the worst record in the league, obviously tied with Washington in the win column. But Washington, look at this. So Utah loses to Charlotte. This was their toughest, this was their easiest game left for the Jazz. They have 6 games left. So if we go to Tankathon and look at the regular schedule strength for the rest of the season, Utah has one of the toughest top 3 schedules for the rest of the season. Very, very unlikely Utah wins another game for the rest of the year. They will end the season most likely, unless something crazy happens, with just 16 wins. But then you go to Washington. Washington still has a lot of winnable games left. Let's see, where is Washington on this board? I cannot find them. Look at this. Minnesota has the toughest schedule to end the year. This is amazing. Things are just coming up Millhouse for the Jazz. Coming up. All right, so 16. Gosh, I can't find them. They still have to play the Sixers, who are tanking worse than the Jazz. They still got to play the Bulls, the Heat. The Orlando's on there. They're going to lose to Orlando and probably going to lose to Sacramento as well. But this game against the Sixers is the one we got to watch, because that Sixers team is not interested in winning at all. Shameless tanking. For shame to these teams. Too bad they didn't have as much shame as the Utah Jazz, who outshamed everyone. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, baby. We got the shame that's taking you all the way to Cooper Flag. This is where you want to be. The shame game, baby. It's called the shame game, and Utah is winning. Get out of here with anything else. Not much to say about the Hornets. They had more NBA players on the floor than the Jazz did, and that's why they won. 26 points for Miles Bridges. Mark Williams, 18 and 13. That's the name of the game, and they won. For the Utah Jazz, Utah comes into this. Let's see. Okay, let's just go from the top here. There's not a lot. We are playing the shame game, and the Jazz are winning at the shame game. Johnny Juzang shot 50% from the field, 40% from 3, but it wasn't. I don't know. I'm really ready to kind of move on. I'm excited to see what the Jazz get from the upcoming draft, and maybe, from the non-drafted player pool. We shall see, but get ready to speak G League, buddy, because more players are coming on the Jazz. And, Johnny Juzang shoots it pretty well. I think we've learned this season not a lot outside of that, to be honest. KJ Martin, it was fun while it lasted, right? The KJ Martin experience has been fun, but it was short. And I don't know what the future holds, but I don't know if it's NBA basketball. We shall see. But it's been pretty rough, and Utah's been playing. He's been getting every opportunity you could want. It has not gone well. The player we got to talk about, and I know the percentages don't look incredible. He was one of the focal points of the entire team. Kyle Filipowski, who was playing at center. 6 for 16 from the field isn't great, although he hit a few shots at the end that were pretty impressive. He misses a 3 that would have tied the game, which honestly, every Jazz fan who knows what's going on and understands the assignment was happy about it. But he misses that 3 to end the game. 14 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists. He's putting up numbers regardless of who he's playing, which is an incredible sign for him for the future. Now, I don't know if it's for sure what Kyle Filipowski becomes, what he's going to be, but there are some things you can predict with pretty good certainty. Kyle Filipowski is going to be a nice offensive player. Now, he could become an incredible offensive player based off of what we've seen. It's really up to him. A pretty darn impressive rookie campaign for Kyle Filipowski, who deserves some all-rookie buzz. I know the Jazz are pushing Isaiah Collier, and rightfully so, but Kyle Filipowski also deserves some buzz because he has been playing pretty well. Tonight, the percentages weren't great, but the raw numbers are good, and there are nights where he's shooting lights out. Now, the three-point shot lately has tapered off a little bit, but for the season, being upper 30s for a rookie is remarkable stuff. So you've got to be excited if you're a Filipowski fan. There's a lot of development there to still do, but one thing I really liked tonight, he got an elbow from Mark Williams on an offensive foul, and he took that like a champ. I mean, stuff like that just shows that he is tough. He will take a hit. He will play tough. It doesn't matter who he's against. Mark Williams on the Hornets is huge, and everything everyone says about him is that when you see him in person, he is just massive, and Filipowski takes an elbow to the head from him and just took it like a champ. Freaking awesome. The guy has toughness. You've got to be excited about it if you're a Jazz fan. Now, what's his future like? I don't know. That's the thing with all these rookies. You don't know who's going to improve. You don't know who's going to get worse. But right now, we can just enjoy the fact that Filipowski has had a nice rookie season, and if he can improve as a defensive player, Utah has a really nice player on their hands. Bryce Sensabaugh continues to be just literally one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA. In fact, if you don't believe me, let's go to Basketball Reference and just bring this up. I'm going to bring this over here, and let's bring up Sensabaugh, and let's go. I think it's February 16th. Wasn't that All-Star break? Let's bring this up. It's not going to have tonight's 5 for 10 from 3, 50% on 10 threes. Insane. Let's go. Let's see. Let's go back. When was All-Star break? I think it was right here. So you go from here to the end, and this may not be. I'm pretty sure this was All-Star break, this 8-game stretch in between. So anyways, let's bring this up. Are you going to bring up a table here? It's bringing it up. Oh, dang it. All right, let's just go slow. Let's wait for them. But you can see these numbers. 2 for 7, 4 for 5, 5 for 8. He's doing this on volume. 3 for 6, 4 for 7, 5 for 7, 3 for 5, 3 for 4. Just absolutely lights out. So you look at the last 20 games. This is a pretty good sample size. 450 minutes played, 50% from 2, 50% from 3. Insanity. It's crazy what he's doing. Honestly, super impressive shooting. Now, is too many turnovers. He almost has as many turnovers as 3 points made. 56, 30, oh, that's not that close. But 38 is an alarming number for a non-playmaking guard, right? It's got to be better. That's one thing he's got to continue to improve at. But my goodness, the shooting is unquestionably good. 50% from 3 in his last 20 games. So this goes from, let's see, from 222. In fact, we might even get a better shot. So remember that, 222. Let's go to NBA.com. Let's go to the stats here. And let's bring up Kyle Filipowski. Or not Filipowski. Let's just do... Let's do... Actually, I don't really care. We'll just do that. But let's do... Players, general, traditional. Why not? Let's do advanced here. Let's go from, remember, 222. Sorry, guys. This is just what we're doing tonight. It's a tanking season. I'm going to do whatever I want. All right, so 231 from... or 331 from 222. Last day of March. Happy end of March, everyone. All right, let's get those stats. Now, you want to see something crazy? And let's do minimums, I guess. Well, we'll see if it brings it up. 3-point percentage. You got to kid out. See, how do you... Let's see. Dang it. entire game, all heights, all weights, all positions. Oh, man. Well, look at this. So you're looking at Mike Conley. Wow, look at that. Mike Conley, 54% from 3. Where is Bryce Sensabaugh? Right there. 50% field goal percentage. Oh, let's see. 50%, and that's on 5.8 three-point attempts per game. In fact, let's do this. Let's look at all these three-point shooters. He's doing 5.8. You go, oh, well, this is not going well. This show is not going well. How do I weed out the shot attempts here? Experience, draft year, college, team, all conference. Whatever. Anyways, the moral of the story is he's shooting absolutely lights out. I wish I could figure that out quicker. Doggone it. But if you could weed it out from what I think he's like number 3 in the NBA from players who actually play, not just garbage time players who hit like one shot one time. He is absolutely destroying from the 3-point line. Now, he's got to stop the turnovers. Tonight, 0 turnovers. Nice little sign. 1 game, so it's just 1 game. But look at this. Bryce Sensabaugh, 5 assists, 3 steals. Arguably one of the better nights for Sensabaugh all year. Utah still loses, but he plays 26 minutes, shoots the threads off. Nice to see. I think Sensabaugh, since All-Star break, has 100% earned more time to develop on the Utah Jazz. Pre-All-Star break, I was having serious questions. We talked about it on this show. Serious questions. But it's nice to see him really shooting the ball well. And Utah has something there. Now, can he continue to develop? Can he get tougher? Can he be a better defender? Can he stop turning the ball over? We shall see. Utah is pushing Isaiah Collier for the all-rookie team, and rightfully so. He's been a blast. He's been one of the fun and surprising players of this season, although I guess we shouldn't be that surprised because before the season started, he was slated to go top 5, and he goes at the end of the first round. Utah got a steal. If he can continue to develop his offensive game, it's great. He had 2 reverse layups with Mark Williams at the rim. And now Mark Williams is, surprisingly, with how huge he is, not the greatest rim protector. But to see Isaiah Collier figure out how to score around him anyway was awesome. He's got to figure out a floater game. He's got to improve the 3-point percentage. 0 for 3 is not good enough. He's got to figure out how to shoot it. If he doesn't, there's a limit to what he can become. But if he does do those things, then you see stuff like the 7 assists, the 3 steals. All this stuff is looking really good. 17 points, 6 free throws. He made 5 of them. Good sign. So there's like tons of great signs with Collier. But the thing that really just has to get figured out is this shooting right here. And he's got to figure out a few other shots around the rim because this Charlotte Hornets team is not good. But he figured out a way to score against them. Nice to see. Keyonte George, I think he just had the green light tonight. The shot was not falling very much. Not a lot to say. It wasn't great. We've just got to see some improvement. I don't know what to say. You guys know that I'm a huge Keyonte George fan, and I think there's a world where he becomes really, really good. We're seeing some of the things where he becomes not good. And tonight was kind of one of those nights. We're not going to judge just on one game, but after next season, I think Utah has a pretty decent idea of what Keyonte George is going to be. He has a big off season ahead of him. He has a big season ahead of him because Utah is going into this lottery, and if they get lucky and they get Cooper Flagg, the arrow is pointing up real quickly for this Jazz team, and you have got to perform if you want to be on the Jazz. You have to perform. And we're seeing a few too many nights where we're not, as opposed to nights where we are with Keyonte George. Maybe there's injury. Maybe this is related to the sickness that's going around the team. But you got to improve. At a certain point, you are how you are what you are. And so he's got to improve, got to take less bad shots. Tonight was kind of just letting it fly. And, he's putting up raw numbers, but someone has to put numbers up for these teams. someone's going to score. And the person for the Jazz is sometimes Keyonte George. Led the team in scoring tonight, but it wasn't the most efficient. It truly helped the Jazz get lottery balls. So I just want to see him improve. We'll see next season how much he does. It's going to be interesting. He's not a player that you give up on by any means, because there's just so much talent there and potential. But we now have 2 seasons. We are going to have another season next year. And then Utah has some decisions to make with contracts, and that'll be very, very interesting. But Key's got to really show some stuff next year. He's got to do it. Now, there's a world where he really takes a step next year, and it's not going to take much for him to become a phenomenal offensive player, and maybe he can even improve defensively. And who knows, maybe he plays so well next year that Utah gets a little too close for comfort to fall out of that bottom 8. I don't know. We'll see. We just got to wait and see. But at some point, you have to perform more consistently. And Keyonte is trending a little downwards as of late. Oscar Tshiebwe, one of the things that was so fun about this game was who, by the way, the best play-by-play announcer, in my opinion, in the NBA is the guy for the Charlotte Hornets. He's phenomenal. In fact, I just want to look him up. I want to put a face to the name. But they just kept talking about Oscar Tshiebwe all night because of his rebounding, which is so amazing. Is it this guy? Is it Eric Collins? It's got to be, right? This guy is incredible. If I'm the Jazz, I would throw an absolute bag at him to come to Utah and be the announcer for the Utah Jazz. He would be phenomenal. But they just loved how much Tshiebwe rebounds the ball. Tonight, in 24 minutes, 11 rebounds. The per 36 is like 16. Tshiebwe is a lot of fun. I don't know if he does a ton outside of rebounding the ball, but my goodness, does he have an NBA skill, which is rebounding. He just is a remarkable rebounder. He just is. He had a few times where he took the ball just right out of Mark Williams' hands, and it was great. Sorry, guys. So, I don't know. I kind of hope Oscar Tshiebwe's on the Jazz next year because he's got an awesome personality. He's super fun, someone you love to root for. Can he add to his game? I do feel like he does help you win. His rebounding is one of the most underrated things in the NBA. It truly is, and that's one thing that he does. It helps end defensive possessions, and it helps extend offensive possessions. And so it really does help in a big way. And Utah made a run when he was on the floor at times. So he's someone to watch. And yeah, look at that. In a Jazz loss, he was a +2. So his rebounding is elite level. It really is. I don't know if he does anything else at a super high level. He can do putbacks though. He can set screens. As a third or fourth big, might be worth having long term. Maybe he can kind of develop his game. Why not? He's still a young player. So I don't know. A lot of fun. I love the fact that Svi Mikhailuk took 7 shots and missed every single one. Oh, man. Pistol Svi Maravich was the injured Pistol Svi right tonight, I guess. And Jaden Springer had a kind of a pretty good night. Look at that. 4 for 9. He only made one of his 5 threes, but 11 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Pretty good. Not bad. He's the one who just signed with the Jazz a new contract, so it's nice to see him play pretty well. We'll see what he does next year as well. Not a lot to say about Jaden Springer, to be honest. Guys, I think that's pretty much everything tonight. This was a massive win for the Jazz in terms of tanking. You see right there, Utah now, that was the easiest game left. Utah now has 6 games left. And it's all against teams that are better than the Jazz right now, that are relatively motivated to win. And Utah's going to have to watch and make sure they don't accidentally win one. But I think Washington has a chance to really pull one of these out. And Utah will have this number 1 spot come lottery night. And as a reminder, as always, yes, it's just a 14% chance for each of these 3 teams. But being in the number 1 spot locks in the 5. If you have the number 1, the worst you can do is 5. So Utah has assured themselves a top 5 pick. Incredible. So, huge success for the Utah Jazz. All right, here we go. It's lottery time, and then we got to give a shout out to the All-Stars. So, like I said, Utah's there. Minnesota is sitting at 20 right now. They have a tough schedule to end, so let's hope that they drop. It would be super nice to have that pick fall into this range. Can you please drop below the Clippers, perhaps Detroit? That'd be so funny if the Detroit pick gets better than the Minnesota pick. That would be amazing. I bet they thought that Detroit pick was going to be good. Take that, Minnesota. Suck on that. All right, let's see. Let's go to the draft. It's a little easier here. If the Utah Jazz, if lottery night was right now, what would happen? Let's see. Come on. No! This keeps happening. I don't believe it. I feel like it's rigged. And I'd take Trey Johnson over Kasparas Giacozonis. Trey Johnson coming to the Utah Jazz. Actually, you know what I would do? Common Malawatch, baby. I might draft Common Malawatch. We'll see. Maybe you trade back and get Common Malawatch. I don't know. But that's the best part is Utah assures themselves the top 5. And so let's say something weird happens. Maybe Ace Bailey drops. Maybe you get him. Maybe someone falls in love with Kasparas or Trey Johnson or Konkanopel or something like that. I don't know. All right. Let's give a shout out to our All-Stars. I gotta reload this. I want to make sure it's completely accurate. Looks like it is, baby. All right. Let's give a shout out to Robert, Hall of Fame, Christian House Money to Haas, Cam Bam, thank you, ma'am, Cam Chin 3, Ryan Edward Perry, the legend, I Believe in Steve, Jazz Exile, baby, Elliot Matson, see ya, Lexolator Jordan, the GOAT, Bessrel, Osnar Grant, editor extraordinaire, KG10 to TH5, the OG, and Patrick Akubo, the connoisseur. Guys, like and subscribe to the channel. If you are watching this and you haven't liked the video or subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Subscribe right now! And if you want to support the channel, you can hit join. I would appreciate it. I appreciate all the members so much. Guys, look, there's an ad for Mobland. I'm going to watch that with Mrs. Hoops Nerd at some point here. All right, guys. I will talk to you next time. Go Jazz, baby!